Hey everyone, welcome to the program WRSA Radio. I am your host, Grenadier One. I hope you're all having a good week and looking forward to the weekend. Hope you're working on doing some training, whatever you can, get some form of training this weekend. I hope you're striving to do that. I think the times warrant that every opportunity that we can take to sharpen the hatchet, we do that. This week, we're going to talk about reality and why the official narratives that we are given about all kinds of things do not match reality. What I'm talking about here, but in case you do not, let me give you some examples. The official narrative is that men can be women and women can be men, that children are wise enough to make lifelong decisions. We're told that medications work and protect you. We're told that our borders are fine, and that we're told that tens of thousands of people coming into this country with no way to verify who they are and what they are is totally fine. All those things, they're totally real. It's totally fine, guys. We're told that we can just keep printing money and it will all be okay. $300 trillion is zero or whatever the number is. We're told that we don't have to manufacture anything in our country anymore. That we should just move all those jobs and factories overseas, and it's okay. Just on and on and on and on. Okay, reality spits in the face of this fraud. Reality crushes this nonsense, and yet our leaders and their mouthpieces keep telling us that we're wrong, that reality is lying to us. Well, why? Why are they doing this to us? What is the purpose to this? It's too simple to say this is because they are so committed to their ideology that they're willing to, ride or die with it, regardless of what the results are. This is far deeper than that. The purpose is much more sinister. This is psychological war that is being waged on us. That's what they're doing here. They're doing this to destabilize us mentally. They want this. We're seeing the results of this happening on small scales all over the country. More and more people are just snapping. Okay, we got instances of suicide by cop on the rise. We got domestic violence of all sorts, and really even more signs of this as people begin to do just some absolute bizarre things. It's not necessarily lashing out so much as just doing strange things. We're seeing people just break down on social media. This is something I think that's a little bit more unique to our time, as we have just this very unprecedented view into people's personal lives, due to what they share via social media. And we're seeing people just snap for the most trivial reasons and say just some of the stupidest things. And we're not even talking about political things here. I'm talking about personal things. It is truly clown world that we are living in. And I think you get where we're at here. So let's break this down a little bit deeper into that why. Why is this being done to us? And what do they have to gain by doing this to us? Well, what they get is disconnection. They get people who are stressed. They get people who are confused and uncomfortable. They get people flailing for normalcy. Imagine a drowning person, a person who's on the edge of breaking. They're looking for anything to save them. They're looking for any kind of lifeline, something that will just come out of the fog that they can grab onto, that will pull them back into safety. The comfortable things, the order that they're looking for. In short, they're creating this chaos so that they will have people so wanting and hungry for help that they will not only welcome this new elite's plan, they will demand it. They will willingly walk into the camps, or they will willingly force others into the camps. They will welcome the government becoming even more authoritarian and overreaching than they already are. And we're already seeing this in Australia and Canada, but we are seeing pushback to this. But the fact that we're not seeing more pushback and more resistance tells you that lots and lots of people are willing to accept this course of action that the governments are taking. Now, it's beyond troubling to me, okay? It's just downright terrifying, to be honest. Now, you may have figured this out for yourself. I don't think I'm giving you anything really insightful with this. I believe we've even covered this before in some episodes. But let's look at the other side of it, which I think we've also probably mentioned before. But we can see why people would be having problems dealing with these situations and these contradictions that they're being confronted with, that cognitive dissonance. But what about those of us who are aware of this? Those of us who can see what they are doing are also confronted with something that we have to deal with. And I made a post about this on Gab yesterday. When I see these things and I reflect on what this is doing to people and what it's doing to our society, I can't help but be just filled with anger and rage, okay? And to be frank, to be filled with hatred for those who are doing this to us. Those who want us to just accept this new normal. No, I will not accept this as the new normal. And I hate them. I hate everything that they stand for and everything they seek to do to this country and our people. I'm not ashamed of hating them either. That doesn't make me feel better. I don't get any pleasure out of that, but like I said, I don't have any shame about it either. I'm surely not the only one who feels this way, and I know that there are many people who are going to let this hatred eat them up. And that's the other thing that I fear. They're going to become so overwhelmed with this that they will act and possibly do something stupid or something that sets us back even further, that serves the purposes of the elite. So this is a dual-edged sword for our enemies. They can affect the normies and those of us who see what they're doing at the same time. And it's maddening, and I can't tell you how many times I've had to check myself from, Fed posting on social media. I really want to just say, screw it, let's go. But we can't do that. We can't openly call for what we all know that we should be doing. Why? When will we be able to make that call? When do we make that call, however, or when we do make that call, how are we going to know what to do and how to act? And here's where we're going to step back and go into a little bit different topic, but we'll loop back together at the end here. Because I think I have something that will help us, at least guide us and build a framework for us going forward. There's a concept in military orders called commander's intent. What this concept is a statement that conveys the overall purpose, the desired outcome of a strategy or a military operation. The statement is used to provide an overall concept of that operation and guidance on how smaller subordinate units should craft their own missions and component operations that will achieve this overall goal. And commander's intent or leader's intent goes all the way down the chain through those orders. So what is our overall goal? What should our commander's intent be? We, and when I say we, I mean all of those who resist tyranny and overreach, we have no commander. We have no leader that will issue an overall strategy and commander's intent. How do we come to a consensus on this overall goal and intent if we want to take advantage of what's called leaderless resistance? Because there are those that advocate a big national organization or a movement to address this very problem. But both of those approaches come with benefits and with pitfalls. So I think there's an adaptive kind of combined approach to ensure that we don't have different groups working in opposition to one another, even though they're supposed to be on the same side. And all while avoiding the problems associated with, these big, large, ponderous national organizations. You guys know what I'm talking about there. You've seen enough of that on a national level to know that that's not going to be a viable approach. But this approach is an agreed upon overall strategy summed up in a single statement of commander's intent. And we come to this statement through trial and error. We float out statements from national voices and leaders. And once we come to a consensus, we all agree to begin using that statement as much as possible and formulating our plans based off that desired outcome. Now is where we get to that part. I've been reading multiple articles from the mothership and from Gab today as I write this script for this show. And those articles and things have influenced my thinking on this. And recall what I said about people being disconnected from their realities. So that they're willing to reach out for solutions that offer them stability. The people that we want to reach, that we want to appeal to offer that stable solution are the traditional normies, the ones that want things to go back to normal as they see it, which they're thinking, 10 or 20 years ago. And now it doesn't matter that many of you listening to this show know just as much as I do that even 10 or 20 years ago is not really far enough, okay? We have to fix things and make changes so that we do not simply start back down the path to this same place, all over again. And we can get to that after things settle back down, I think. The problem that we face is that even if we get every normie who fits into that category on our side, it's still not quite enough. We have to move some of the others to our position. And we're in competition with these commies who are doing everything they can to suppress any alternate position. They will demonize and marginalize anything that is outside of a very narrow window for us. So, for example, as much as I sympathize with the idea that we can't continue to simply worship the Constitution and expect it to somehow magically constrain everyone and produce the country we all want, that's a fantasy that I would argue that the founders themselves never intended anyway, but I digress. So, as much as we might like our statement of intent to be something like, dissolve the country into smaller states, blah, 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 blah. Add in whatever other political goals we might come to some consensus on. As much as we might want to propose that, we're not going to achieve any kind of traction with something like that. We're in opposition to people who want to destroy the country. If we come up and say, hey, guess what? We want to destroy the country too, we just sound like a budget wish.com version of the commies. We don't offer anything to that drowning man. We're telling him that we're going to drag him further out into deeper waters and that place of more dread and uncertainty. And that's not what drowning people want to hear. Hey, come on over here where the sharks are. No, that's not what they want. I think our end state and our commander's intent has to be framed in something we call restoration. We can decide what that restoration looks like, but it has to be in that framework that our people are already familiar with and that others are already familiar with and that they will respond to and gravitate to. Donald Trump didn't create his movement, in spite of what some of his most, ardent followers will trot out there. He simply read the tea leaves, or more likely, being that he's a corporate guy, he looked at all the marketing data and the trending, and he realized that there was a movement already there. And all he had to do was speak to it and ride it to the White House. Well, we know that that movement is still there. We don't have to like every aspect of it. Hell, we mock it in a lot of ways and take a very cynical look at it, but it's closer to what we can achieve than almost anything I've seen yet. So my starting place then for this commander's intent statement is the following: full spectrum operations to restore the country to a constitutional state with changes in order to resist future decline. Think about that for a few minutes. And again, this is a starting point, so I would expect people to add or replace, take away parts or to offer their own version of it so that we can come to some kind of consensus. Tell me what you think, and tell me what your version of this would be. And that's all I got time for today. Sorry for the short show, but got important other pressing things to do today. So come see us over on Gab. Come see us over on the Mothership. Like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode.